All right, I'm Ted Leverette. I'm the original business buyer advocate. I'm not a business broker, never have been. And for more than 30 years, I've been helping, well, over 100,000 entrepreneurs and advisors worldwide. They've bought my books, they've taken my trainings, they've hired me. We handle things like creative finance, deal making. I personally coached about 1,000 clients, and this is important. I've trained 298 independent advisors. They don't work for me. They're not in my company. I trained them to better serve people buying and selling companies. Okay, this is Dan Precourt. He's a searcher. So he's going to give us a couple of minutes to tell us his story, because in here will be some things that I think you need to hear.
My name's Dan Precourt. As Ted mentioned, I'm a self-funded searcher. I'm currently active in my business search process. I started my first business when I was 21, and it's a business we still operate today. And a couple of years ago, I sold a business that we built over a 10-year period. And now I'm looking for my next opportunity. Yeah, it's thanks, Ted. It's been something else. I'm sure I'm glad to have the help of Ted and others to keep me focused. It's an entirely new endeavor, and anybody on here that is searching can no doubt relate. Finding deal flow is challenging, and getting prepared has to be the key to understanding the process, because otherwise I think it's really easy to drown in what you become faced with. The brokers have a way of dealing with you that you may not be entirely familiar with. You know, if you are fortunate to have some personal deal flow, those folks may be keen to talk to you. But if you're unprepared, that's going to be challenging because they're not prepared either. And then if you're doing, if you have gone through the process and you are doing a proprietary search, well, that just introduces a whole new set of challenges that you really can't prepare for until you actually are in the process and maybe have practiced a couple of times with maybe a broker. My experience so far has been that the emotional side of it has to be part of the toughest challenges that I've faced. You get so excited about a deal and an opportunity, and the people that you're working with, they don't have the same goals that you have. They want to sell, you want to buy, but they want to sell for different reasons than you want to buy. And you don't have the support that you might have in a situation where you're trying to sell a good or service that you've been doing in your previous career, where you guys are all headed, down the same path. And I've found that really challenging to deal with. And thankfully, Ted and others have helped me to stay focused. But a few things that I would share with folks that, that are really important to help manage that situation is, first, you got to have a great team. You got to have somebody helping you to stay focused. Your lawyer, your financial advisor, accountant, if you have a buyer coach, Ted or David, somebody that's going to help you make sure you stay on track. And listen to what they have to say. I have to admit, being a business owner, I sometimes not quite as focused on what people are telling me as maybe what I want to do. And one thing that got stressed to me was keep the deal flow coming. And I didn't understand the importance of that. And truly, when I look back at deals that have either not happened for the right reasons, or perhaps an opportunity may have been missed, the one factor that stayed constant was the emotional side of it. And if I had other deals to look at, I think that you have a clearer perspective and you're not just focusing on that one home run that's going to get you out of this process and, on to the next phase of your career or your life.
Okay, Dan, let me pick up where Dan left off. And we're talking about what happens before you even begin searching. One of the considerations we just need to get is preliminary due diligence begins in the first words you see here expressed to a broker, an owner, anyone on the playing field. This is your first opportunity to assess your risk, and your value. The biggest tip I think I could give you right now is begin with your end game in mind. You need to know exactly what you need to accomplish in terms of timing, return on investment, you name it. All the criteria, search. You need to have that nailed before you're out talking to anybody about what you want to do. If you don't do that, then you get to practice on the field. And that's a sign of an amateur. And believe me, brokers and owners don't need amateur searchers. Have you seen how it's important to delicately handle issues and mostly what? Relationship build? You there?
Absolutely agree. I find it really fascinating, actually, if you use a light touch at the beginning, particularly when you're first meeting these folks who are a little less prepared, to just do that rapport building and relationship building. And next thing you know, a lot of the questions you might want to ask, they're telling you, sure, I'm still licking my wounds a wee bit. We dealt with a business that in fact, Ted pointed out at one point in the process that, hey, don't you remember at the beginning you said you weren't interested in this business? And it was just something that I never had on my radar, and I did kind of fall in love. I believe they call that buyer fever. I had a strong case, and the broker set things up like a lot of homes are sold these days, where he had showings and he gave us an opportunity to do some fairly involved due diligence pre-LOI, and then allowed us the opportunity, and I say this sarcastically, the opportunity to submit an LOI on a date, at the same date that several others would be presenting their LOIs. And, then the seller would obviously choose his dance partner.
Hey, Dan, that reminds me, weren't we supposed to talk a little bit about a diverse field of opportunities for I know some of you use the word agnostic. Write it down. Ted Leverette thinks that's the most naive thing you can do and say. We don't do that. But we do want a diverse group. And somebody is tuned into this. I promised him we spend a minute, and I want Dan to talk about just how diverse have you gone without exactly trying to go diverse, just because of the way we're searching. You don't have to tell us the kinds of companies, but give us some clues, because guess what? I've seen 5 or 6 of them, and they're all juicy opportunities, and I'll bet none of you have it on your acquisition criteria, because we sure did not. Dan, talk about it.
Thanks, Ted. Yeah, I like a lot of folks, I tried to focus my search at the very beginning on a fairly specific, manufacturing style business, and then of course narrowed it down to metal manufacturing, let's say. And what happened actually, and it came about by accident, was that I was having trouble searching, actually finding enough targets. But as a result of the data that you get from trying to get these lists from these list companies, all of a sudden some of these random companies popped up on my list, and I ended up, well, what is this? And it turned out that they checked a lot of the boxes that I actually was really keen on, but, I had no idea these companies existed. Now, of course, the question still remains is, how do I find more of these companies that I never knew existed and don't know how to find? But there's a lot of value in searching, because that activity did, in fact, create these other opportunities that I just was never, ever aware of.
Hey, you. That's right, you. Have you been looking to buy an exciting and profitable business? Are you tired of searching, but only finding barriers that impede you from owning a wonderful business? Well, have we got some good news for you. You can find and buy the right business the right way. And you don't have to go it alone. For over 30 years, author and transaction advisor Ted Leverette, the original business buyer advocate, has been helping buyers worldwide achieve win-win done deals. Ted Leverette says, you can't buy it if you can't find it. You see, buying a business is all about search. Because if you can't find it, you can't buy it. It's about being best and first. First on the scene with sellers, and being the seller's first choice, and top of mind for brokers and sellers. And most importantly, avoiding buyer competition. What about having to compete with other buyers? Well, you have to outbid them, which is a good way to pay more than a business is worth. Searchers do better with a winning business buyer marketing plan, and that's where Ted Leverette comes in. He'll help you prepare a winning plan, and then he'll guide your actions so you can find and then buy the right business the right way. But searching is not enough. The reality is too many people buy the wrong business, or they buy the right business, but on the wrong terms. That's why, if you want to buy the right business the right way, it makes sense to have Ted Leverette, the original business buyer advocate, on your advisory team. And one of the best ways to know what the savviest searchers and buyers do is to read Ted Leverette's books, How to Prepare Yourself and Find the Right Business to Buy, and How to Buy the Right Business the Right Way. You can get them at his website, partneroncall.com. Don't chance it. Right now, go to partneroncall.com, get the books, and schedule a free and private telephone conversation with Ted Leverette.
You can do better if you contact me and we build or improve your searcher marketing plan. You can learn more about searching by reading my book, How to Prepare Yourself and Find the Right Business to Buy. And my other book helps you achieve worthwhile deals, How to Buy the Right Business the Right Way. You will save time, you will save money, you will achieve better deals if you do what the savviest buyers do. I'm available to help you deploy the tactics and strategies from my books. You can get them on Amazon. So, I'm Ted Leverette, the original business buyer advocate with Partner On Call Network. Thanks for listening.